I thought I'd put together a video of tips of things I learned along the way playing Borderlands, the pre-sequel. The first bit of tips is about the low gravity mechanic and the double jump and the slam. Something which took me a sadly long time to learn is how to get to where you want to be with your double jump. For example, I'm trying to get to the top of this little building here. You would think you'd run at it, jump, double jump boost, and you don't come anywhere close. So you'd have to come back and try again and again and again, and you're never going to make it. What you actually have to do if you want height is look up for your boost. If you look up for your boost will be up, and then you can correct your camera, and you will find that you get height. If you want distance, of course, you look off into the distance. So it's actually pretty handy. So again, a height boost is a look up, and then you can correct. I did that a little too early. But if you want distance, you look off to the outside. So there you go. You can easily make that. That will come in handy when you have to do the platforming sections. So for example, you would think you can't make it from here up to there, because if you try and double jump, again, you don't come anywhere really close. But if you look up and boost, you make it easily. The next bit about this is about the slam. When they introduced the slam, I guess I wasn't paying that close of attention. And if you're not, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with the slam by now, but if you press crouch, you come down hard in a low gravity environment, or even with a gravity environment. And what I found is that the slam was either not very effective at all. And because what I didn't realize was if you just tap slam, you come down hard as if you would otherwise. But what happens is you don't get the slam bonus. What do I mean by that? So for example, if you just tap crouch, you see you come down hard, but you don't see the little mini explosion from your butt slam. Well, that's because you didn't hold crouch. Which, again, probably, maybe this is just me, but it's something I thought I'd share. If you hold crouch, you get that slam. You hear it, you see it, and you know it's working. So that's how, again, just something about the butt slam, which I thought was kind of neat. So we'll do another one here from up high. If you hold it, you can see how you see the slam environment, the slam explosion. Something else which, probably the next thing which I think people need to know, which is not explained anywhere in the game, is how to get level 50 mission reward weapons. Such as the Phrygia, one of my favorites, or the Boganella, which is another one I really love to play with, wherever that is. So I have a level 50 version of these. So how do I get a level 50 version of these? Well, it comes from a mission, of course, right, as the mission word. The thing which you have to realize is don't accept any side mission until after you've beat the end boss. After you beat the end boss, you cannot have accepted the mission even if you accept the mission during True Vault Hunter mode, but don't actually do it, don't start it, don't even go to the area, it will still be locked at whatever level you accepted it as. So once you've accepted that mission, it's locked to that level, and your mission reward will be whatever level it shows when you accept it. So don't pick up any side mission until after you beat the end boss if you want a level 50 version of that weapon, because right now there's no way to reset your playthrough. So does that mean you can't do any of the side quests? No. If you don't want the reward, do it during the True Vault Hunter mode, or for example ones like this, which I suppose I should finish. See, this one, the nice thing about it, before you even accept the mission, such as this one I've not accepted yet, you can see what the reward of this one is. It's 4 moonstone and some experience. I can accept this side mission and go do it because I don't have to worry about getting a blue weapon. Same with this one. I could have done this one during the regular playthrough of True Vault Hunter mode, no problem. But one like this one, Infinite Loop, I can see it's going to give a blue weapon, a blue laser, or a blue grenade. So you want to make sure you do not pick this mission up, when I pick that up, what do you mean? When you see somebody with an exclamation point over their head and you can go up and accept it, don't accept it until after you've beaten the final boss in True Vault Hunter mode. And then when you do accept it after that, I've now accepted it. It is now a level 50 side quest, and you will give it a level 50 reward. Again, there's something like this. You can see this mission gives it green. I never finished it just because I just didn't really want to, I guess. But I could have done this one through True Vault Hunter mode if I wanted to get the XP. No problem. The green weapons are always just plain old, normal green weapons. Nothing special about them at all. So why about the blue weapons? The blue weapons, as a mission reward, not always, some are normal blue weapons, and the normal blue weapons are just the same old normal blue weapons you can get out of looting, out of dropping from enemies, out of the vending machine. But most of the blue weapons, as mission rewards, will have some piece that's called, we call it the red flavor text. So what does the red flavor text do? It does something, that means this weapon does something special outside of what you're seeing on the weapon card. Maybe something useless, maybe something cool, but it does something. So for example, I have 3 weapons here, mission weapons, that all have a red flavor text. The Boganella, which is one of my favorite, says rack off, you dag. Again, what does this weapon do? Well, it talks to you. It may do some. It actually is a pretty good shotgun, so maybe it has some better things on reload or fire rate or recoil. Hard to say, but realistically, this one talks to you. The Frisian Phrygia says Icy Moon of Mongo. Again, I don't know exactly what its benefits are. It does seem to, in practical sense, freeze enemies way more often than any other weapon I've used, so that's why I keep it. I'm guessing that's probably has something to do with that. The probe says go deep enough, who knows what you'll find. Really, what does it mean? It heals you quite a lot while you're holding it, as do all Moxie's weapons actually. Any Moxie weapon, if that's not known, heals you. It doesn't say it anywhere, but it does. So any weapon with red flavor text does do something special, and generally speaking, only the blue mission reward weapons or blue boss drops will have this red flavor text. Purples generally don't have that. Purples are very good weapons on their own right, but they generally don't have red flavor text. And of course, there are blue weapons that, if you get it out of a vending machine or whatnot, it will generally just be a normal blue weapon.
Haven't
So
found
for example,
anything good?
say this one here,
My weapon machine
I'll pick it
will
up.
fix that for you.
Is just a normal blue weapon. What does that mean? Well, it's a good weapon in and of itself, but it doesn't have any red flavor text, so meaning what you see here is what you get. It's not going to do anything special. So that's why some of the mission rewards are great, and I generally try and get all the blue mission rewards at top level. Now, the only downside of that is it means you don't have those weapons for your playthrough of True Vault Hunter mode. So you have to make a decision. Do you want that weapon to help you get through True Vault Hunter mode, or do you want it for endgame? It's up to you. It's a decision you have to make. But I personally, I kind of like to play with them a bit, so I usually save any of the blue mission rewards until after I've beaten the boss. On to weapons and where to find the best weapons for your playthrough then. And honestly, something that seems to have been bumped is item of the day of the vending machines seems to be greatly improved over Borderlands 2. It seems to be always at least a blue, quite frequently a purple, and sometimes more often than certainly in Borderlands 2 is a legendary. So what does that mean? Well, to me, what it means is that when you're out there in the levels and killing guys and finding weapons, I pretty much pick up anything that's green or better and sell it. You could also grind those weapons. You could grind 3 greens into a blue, 3 blues into a purple. Legendary takes 2 legendaries and a purple, which we'll go over in a different video. But while that is certainly a neat way to go, what I find is that you're better off selling it and then kind of watching the vending machines for a weapon you really want. Because if you grind it, one, you're turning 3 weapons into 1, And if you don't actually use the moonstone, you have no guarantee you're even going to improve the quality. You could put 3 greens and get a green back out if you don't use the moonstone. If you do use the moonstone, you'll be guaranteed to get the blue in that case, but it costs a lot of moonstone. But you might still end up with a weapon you don't even really want. So I find watching the vending machines.
Guns.
I bought almost every weapon I used through the whole game as an item of the day from a vending machine.
Haven't found anything good.
But when
My weapon machines will fix that.
I didn't get anything good from the vending machines, there is the golden chest. The golden chest takes golden keys, as you can see right now. I have 10 keys. And where do you get keys from? Most commonly, they're tweeted out from Randy Pitchford or Gearbox. If you're a Twitter user, add them, and you will get these shift codes are called to get these golden keys, and sometimes some other things, faces, masks, and special weapons and things. But most often, it's golden keys. So once you have these golden keys, when do you use them? Well, a lot of people save them, like most everything in an RPG, and they find that they get to the end of the game and they don't need to use this chest. So if you do get golden keys, and I'll post a link in the description to some sites that amalgamate the shift codes, I find use this thing anytime you find your weapon getting long in the tooth. What does the golden chest give you? Always purple. Guaranteed purple. Could be weapons, could be shields, could be class mod, could be Oz kit, but it will be purple. Purple rarity. And generally speaking, anything of purple rarity is pretty good. You might have to respec a bit to use it, but then that's kind of good too. It kind of gives you a chance to try something else. So for example, we use a key here, and we'll see what we get. We got, in this case, a purple rocket launcher. Actually, I'm full because my inventory is full. But you're guaranteed to get a purple weapon. So like I say, I would say don't hold on to your golden keys. Again, up to you. But use them, especially in True Vault Hunter mode, when you find your weapon is no good. Maybe you don't have money to buy a weapon from the item of the day because you've been dying a bit too much. Use your golden keys then. Don't hold on to them for endgame. At endgame, you'll be farming legendaries if you're still playing anyway, and you won't need the golden key chest anymore. And the last thing I suppose I would offer up right now, which I would think is well known, is you can respec your skill points at any time at the quick change machine in Concordia. And it's actually quite cheap to respec. The price depends on what level you are, but at level 50, 30,000 is nothing. That's a weapon or two to sell, and you can get $30,000. So Borderlands is not one of those games where you have to plan out your skill build ahead of time and really stick with it. For example, right now I'm trying out the Cyber Commando tree again. I'm still not a big fan of it, honestly. But that's the whole point. That's one of the things about Borderlands. They encourage you from the cheap price of this is to reset your skill points. If you're going down a build that you think is going to be awesome and then it's just not working for you, like I say, some of the skills some of the skills that you think are going to be great don't end up being the best. This game highly encourages you to experiment with your build. You can go on the forums or watch videos of people that have builds that they find work. I found one I particularly love with Wilhelm. But even this, I'm just trying out the Cyber Commando tree right now. And again, I'm not super crazy about it. It's okay, it's fun. It works just fine. I just like my Wolf and Saint build better. But if you are having trouble, if you are not liking how your build is working out, go respec. It's cheap. Try something else. And here we'll just show off the grinder again. Like I said, I recommend
what you find.
Not using the grinder for while you're playing through True Vault Hunter mode. I only recommend using it for legendaries. And again, this is a pretty commonly known recipe, I think, by now. 2 legendaries and a purple will make a different legendary of the type the purple. So in that case, for example, any 2 orange weapons, I'm using a rocket launcher and a laser, but a purple SMG, you're going to end up with a legendary SMG of some kind, as long as you use the Moonstone, which costs 150 Moonstone, which is quite a lot, which is also why I'm saying don't grind until you're basically trying to get a legendary you want. So for example, I'm going to grind this up, so now I don't really need any more blues or purples, so I'm going to grind up the legendaries I want. In this case, so you see I got a Fatale, which is I believe just more or less a reskin rename of the bitch from Borderlands 2. And using Loonstone, I even got a Loonshine bonus. This is a special kind of bonus you can only get when you grind in the grinder. So in this case, I'll get bonus XP from kills. So since I'm top level, it's not super handy, but pretty handy if you weren't. So if you do want to get a particular legendary weapon, and again, I would recommend Legendaries. You don't need Legendaries while you're playing through normal or True Vault Hunter mode. I mean, if you have time to go farm Legendaries and grind them, sure, absolutely, if that's what you want to do. I play through the whole game with just blues and purples, just items I got out of the vending machine and sometimes out of shift code. And honestly, I enjoy that better because that means you're constantly switching weapons and whatnot. You don't get one of these super weapons that you can just go through 10 levels with. But it's up to you. Now at the end game, I probably will farm some bosses and try and grind some stuff up and get just to see what kind of weapons are out there, see what new legendaries are out there. And I'll probably see what bosses drop what. But in this game, also in Borderlands 2, about the grinder, one last thing about the grinder. In Borderlands 2, every boss which dropped a legendary was farmable. I mean, you could go back and play them at any time. In the pre-sequel, it's not like that. Not all bosses you can redo. For example, I know Meg dropped the Torrent, but you can't go back and fight Meg. So you have no choice. If you want to get a Torrent, you have no choice but to farm one of the farmable bosses for legendaries and then use the grinder. It's an interesting way. It's just different, I suppose. I don't really have a big problem with it, but it does seem, for example, if you're trying to get a legendary you want, you're probably better off farming an easy boss and then grinding his reward into what you want. It does seem to maybe take some of the fun out of farming, but then, you know, personally, I'm not a big boss farming guy anyway. But just good to know about how legendaries work. And I think that's all the tips I have for right now.